The Autrey Mill Nature Preserve is located just off Old Alabama Road and is an oasis for the history and nature of Johns Creek. The property is 46 acres, featuring 3 miles of trails and several historic buildings. We spoke with Mary Winder, a part of the staff, to learn more about the history, purpose, and success of the preserve.
Hi, I'm Mary Winder. I'm Autrey Mill's Executive Director. My background is in art and in education, particularly those with special needs. And then I started working for the Department of Natural Resources, and I worked as a conservation educator for the state of Mississippi. During that time, I learned so much from my co-workers, from the biologists and wildlife engineers I worked with. It was wonderful work. And then when I moved to Georgia, I was looking for a quieter place, somewhere without all the red tape, somewhere not departmentalized, and that was important to me. And I found Autrey Mill, and I've been so lucky to call this place, to call Autrey Mill, well, what do I call Autrey Mill? My career? To include Autrey Mill in my career. The preserve was founded in 1988 when a group of community advocates petitioned Fulton County to preserve the land. At that time, contractors had purchased the property in hopes of developing housing on the area. Those community advocates had heard of a 1979 report in which it stated by Dr. John Forbes. Dr. John Forbes stated that there were natural features and historic artifacts on the property. No. There were natural features and historic sites on the property that made it of value to the community. Those community advocates petitioned the county, and they brought the property. So first we were Fulton County property, and then the Autrey Mill Nature Preserve Association was formed as the nonprofit who governs all the activities, events, programs, exhibits. They do all of it and employ the staff. So Autrey Mill staff is hard work. We get here bright and early to let the animals out, the chickens and ducks and goats, and then we make sure that everyone's happy and well fed, particularly watered. And then we're checking emails and making sure we're ready to go for the day. Today, I had 150 third graders from OC Elementary. Oh, I can't think after 150 middle school. Elementary students out for a field trip. And so a day we might have a field trip, we might have a hike, or we might have meetings. It just depends on what's going on. Or we might be prepping for an event like we were earlier today for tomorrow's garden tour event.
The preserve also includes Heritage Village, a collection of local historic buildings dating back to the colonization of the area. In the land's early history, it was a part of the Creek Indian Territory, until Cherokee Indians pushed them south of the Chattahoochee River. However, both groups were removed from the area in the 1830s during the Trail of Tears, and white settlers received the land as a part of the 1832 land lottery. Although the 40-acre divisions were marketed as gold lots, they were perfect for the growing of cash crops. The land transferred from family to family, with H.P. Howell being the first owner from 1860 to 1877, and then the Autrey family until 1907, when the land was sold to Mr. Copeland. Another section of the land was owned by the Summerhour family, whose family home is currently located on the property, although it was originally built near the current location of Squirrel Oaks Library. The final private owner was the DeBray family, who owned the land from the 1960s until the founding of the preserve. Ever since, the preserve has been able to use its unique history and natural features to serve the community.
So the Autrey Mill Heritage Village is a conglomeration of 5 relocated buildings. There are 3 that were original to the site, including the Visitor Center, the Program Barn, and the Farm Museum. And they were all built or expanded upon by the DeBray family, who owned the property before Autrey Mill was founded. The other buildings that were relocated include the Summerhour home, which was built in the 1800s and relocated from the Squirrel Library's location. The Green Store, which was built again in the early 1900s and relocated from Bice and Old Alabama's intersection, and it was one of the first buildings in the area to have electricity. The tenant house, it was home to farmers who worked the land and actually was in our neighbor's property. Fulton County Municipal Water now owns it, and there's a reservoir where the tenant house once sat. I understood that the tenant house was drug across the field. The Warsaw Church is one of the last buildings to be brought to the property, and it came from the St. Ives area. It was originally home to the Moravians before it was later a church for many people in our community. On the pews in the church, you can see names like Medlock and Finley, names you would be surprised, and Webb. And then finally, the most recent addition to our Heritage Village is the Smokehouse, which came from the Taylor Farms area, and it's a cute little building. I'm not sure its history. We're still learning about it and about where it came from. We literally got it in January. Autrey Mill Nature Preserve and Heritage Center's mission is to inspire exploration, appreciation, and preservation of local history and the natural environment. There's lots of partnerships in the works. There always are. Tomorrow, actually, we're hosting our first partnered event with Johns Creek Beautification for the Secret Garden Tour. It's going to be awesome. It's our first annual, and I'm sure we'll be doing it for years to come. Another organization that I'm working with right now and hoping to figure out a way to work together is the Johns Creek Symphony. The music plays a beautiful part in our community, and I think it could be Autrey Mill could be a very neat destination for some concerts.
In the past year, the Nature Preserve has been able to partner with members of the community to help make it an even better place than it already is. Girl Scout Grace Ludlow was able to earn her gold award by building map boxes throughout the trails, complete with laminated maps for public use. The preserve also acquired 3 goats to live in an enclosure designed as a part of an Eagle Scout project, and community members were able to sponsor and adopt the goats. These recent events are prime examples of how the preserve is fulfilling its mission and purpose each and every day. While the Nature Preserve has been successful in attracting individuals and community organizations, we asked Ms. Winder about some of the current plans for the Nature Preserve as well as plans going forward.
So we're always looking for new opportunities and partnerships around the community. We often work with libraries and schools and other nonprofits in the area to spread the word about Autrey Mill. The mayor of Johns Creek has called us the hidden gem, and that's something we'd like to change. We like being a gem, of course, but being hidden is something we'd rather avoid. So we get the word out there at every opportunity we can. That includes festivals and back to school nights and reaching out to volunteer organizations like the National Charity League or the Young Men's Service League, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts of America, and our local beta clubs and school clubs. So throughout the year, Autrey Mill hosts tons of programs and events. Some of the scheduled programs include homeschool programs, preschool programs, hikes, after-school programs like cooking and crafts and doll clubs, and then we're hosting Feeding Fridays today, and larger events like Spooky Mill or Wild Weekend or tomorrow's Garden Festival. It's a lot of fun around here, and there's always something going on.
In addition to collecting factual information about the preserve, we learned about a few personal details and fun anecdotes.
All around us, you see the marriage of nature and history in the plants that are planted around your home, in the buildings where your homes are built. It's all there in the history and nature together combined to make our community. So I think it's interesting and unique that Autrey Mill emphasizes this marriage.
One of the stranger things on the property is the Monkey Massacre Memorial. The memorial is made of several monkey statues that can typically be found around a tree or on a bench, and serves to commemorate a local legend. According to the story, a circus train crashed in the Duluth area near the turn of the 20th century, resulting in the release of several monkeys into the forests and fields of nearby farmers. The farmers, never having seen a monkey before, were frightened by the strange creatures and set out to kill them all. The artist, who wished to remain anonymous, hoped that the memorial would serve as a reminder that not understanding something does not mean that it should be destroyed. Its many events, methods, and eccentricities make the Autrey Mill Nature Preserve a uniquely important location in Johns Creek. Though it has a greater impact on some individuals than others, its historical and environmental preservation and education have a great impact on the surrounding community.
Autrey Mill has helped shape the community through education initiatives that teach individuals about the value of every species and animal in your backyard, to the history of the area and how important it is to record these oral stories of your grandparents and your cousins, and to get that all written down. We hope to be a destination, an archive for the history of Johns Creek, and in that way we work together with the community to create a culture and shared history.
The Autrey Mill Nature Preserve is one of those places that all people should visit at least once. This location has so much to offer for those seeking to learn about our history, become involved in environmental preservation, interact with children through educational programs, or even sit or hike in solitude and observe our natural world. Whether you visit for education, for volunteer opportunities, or just for fun, the Nature Preserve has so much to offer. The very presence of this preserve has forever changed our community.